Hello, friend. Welcome to Grandpa's Horror Stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your own stories. My grandpa is an awesome ghost. I see a lot of creepy and spooky encounters with the paranormal here, so I thought I'd drop a fun, hopeful story of my own. My grandpa was a 6'4" farm boy carpenter with a sensitive spirit, taste for whiskey and pipe tobacco, and loved any music by Tom Jones. He also openly discussed synchronicities, mediums, spirits, and philosophy, metaphysics, and promised my cousin and I specifically that when he died, he would find a way to say hello, just so everyone knows what a badass this man was. There's this. When he proposed to my grandma, he did so by building her a 4-room cabin by hand by himself in the Smokies and asking her to live there with him. They did just that for 10 years. He worked hard, loved harder, and immediately accepted my already adult father as his son. Dad was 20 when my grandparents were married. Grandpa also made a point of formally interviewing any men marrying into the family. The questions consisted of the usual "what do you do" and "what are your intentions" lines, but he would also ask if they could build a fire, hunt, fix their own car, and what they would do first if they were stranded somewhere. His passing initially felt like a huge loss. Then he started visiting us one by one. My dad dreamed of Grandpa meeting him at the cabin mentioned earlier and surprising my dad with a visit with his first and very favorite dog, who my grandpa adored. My dad doesn't usually tell or enjoy ghost stories, but he talks about this dream with perfect recollection and insisted it was really him. Just a week later, I dreamed of walking through a standard holiday party at my house and feeling pulled toward the sunroom. Grandpa was sitting on the bench swing there, just smiling at me. I joined him, and it was so incredibly real. I could even smell his pipe tobacco and feel bits of sawdust stuck to his shirt when we hugged. When I woke up, I reached out to my cousin. She's very open-minded about these kinds of experiences. She answered my call by blurting out that she was about to call me and immediately began describing the exact same dream. When we described all this to my grandma, who is a no-nonsense scientist to her core, she said he was definitely hanging around, and she was tired of coming home from work to find his rocking chair moving back and forth on the porch and the radio on, absolutely blaring Tom Jones's greatest hits. But the real kicker, and what fully convinced me this was real, was his dream visit with my fiancé. The two of them never met, and my fiancé had never seen a photo of my grandpa. But one morning shortly after our engagement, I get a frantic call from the fiancé asking if my grandpa looked like Crocodile Dundee, which he absolutely did, and it was an old inside joke with my grandma. My fiancé went on to describe my grandpa's exact image, what the hospital room he died in looked like, and said that in the dream, my grandpa had demanded my fiancé bring him a six-pack in the hospital, then proceeded to smoke his pipe indoors while he interviewed my fiancé about Survivorman type stuff. I've never laughed and cried that hard at the same time before. It was exactly what he looked like. Where he last was physically, and my fiancé was repeating specific strange phrases my grandpa often used. I love knowing that death isn't the end and that, even once we move on, there seems to be a way of checking up on the people we love I think of him often and feel nothing but joy. And while I'm in no rush at all, I look forward to spending many afterlife afternoons on the porch with him. Update: my awesome grandpa meets up with family members in dreams, continues to playfully annoy my grandma, and interviewed my fiance.